Perfect. Welcome. Hi, I'm Rosalind Warren, and welcome to the Dare to Thrive Circle Entrepreneurial Summit. Every soul-led entrepreneur that I've ever met wants to know how to grow a soul-led business they love that helps people, provides financial stability without soul-sucking hustle. So I've assembled a panel of experts who have each created beautiful businesses they love, and I'm thrilled to have them share their wisdom and insights with us. And today we are chatting with Yumie Zein. As an Egyptian-born woman, Yumie has always been torn between her love of the mystical world and the many restrictions involved in growing up in an ultra-conservative society. Her greatest passion was losing herself in a book that she found that would allow her to transport herself into other dimensions or worlds where the possibilities were infinite. So as fate would have it, her journey led her to the US and to connecting with the greatest library in existence, the Akashic Records. And through this connection to the Akashic Records, she's experienced a massive acceleration in her awakening journey that has led her to dive deeper into discovering herself through energetic healing, hypnosis, soul coaching, and women's circles. After experiencing firsthand the transformational power of each of these modalities in her own life, she decided to dedicate her journey to offering these services to others. She is grateful to have the opportunity to co-create change and transformation through connection with others and looks forward to co-creating heaven on earth with you. Welcome, Yumie.
Thank you, Rosalind. I appreciate you.
Mm.
I am so grateful to be in this space with you and to have the opportunity to share my journey. And it's beautiful hearing you reflect some of them back. You know, sometimes we forget where we've come from, and
Mm-hmm.
hearing it reflected back is really it brings a sense of gratitude, and I'm excited for this time together with you.
Wonderful. Well, we are so pleased to have you here. So I am fascinated by the Akashic Records. Can you give us a brief description of what the records actually are?
Yes, that is a great question to start with. So, the records. In general, people have this perception when they hear like the records or the akasha that there is some kind of library of books that is more of like a physical, sorry, my dog is chiming in, a physical like encyclopedia of the world and it of or of existence, and it kind of is. However, that notion of like a physical library, I feel, has been sent to like the human realm to make it more understandable.
Mhm.
However, what the akasha essentially are is the blueprint of the universe, right?
Mhm.
It is, I like to see it as like the supercomputer of
Mm.
existence, because we are ultimately all energy, and this dimension is just a slowed down vibration of energy that has become physical. So what the Akashic records are basically the higher or the highest vibration where existence is created. So it is like the source where things then slow down and they are created into existence. So they have the blueprint of anything. If you think like building a house, you need to have a blueprint first, and literally these are the blueprint of the universe. Sometimes it's a little bit challenging for the human mind to grasp that concept. but they record everything, and there is no space and time in them. Everything is happening now.
Mhm.
So they're a beautiful way to do many things, to raise your vibration, to connect with past, present, future lives. Obviously, again, because everything is happening now, this past, present, future notion is, again, in a very like human concept. But because everything is happening now, we are able to access that in the records. And they are such a gift, such a beautiful tool that is presented to humanity, really. And in past ancient times, there were like a select few who were able to access the records. But in our time, things, because they are accelerating massively, they are now a tool that we can really all access. And that is my intention in working deeply with the records, to have that available to everyone. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. Of course, it leads to many more.
That's the beauty of the records. Yes.
Yes. Well, and I know that from our conversations that you use the records with your clients to help them build a business.
Yes.
So how can someone use the wisdom that's found in the records? How does it help them?
Yes, that is a beautiful question. And that is what I really love about looking at spirituality from that perspective, really bringing spirituality into a grounded realm where we can ask ourselves, okay, this is really beautiful, but what can I do with it? Why is it there? Like, what's the purpose? And we always have this desire to know what is the purpose. And really, what I have witnessed with working one-on-one with people and in groups with the records is that the purpose of the records and being able to access the records is to be able to open up the doorway for you to move into a path of least resistance. Because when you are in a high vibration, when you are opening up the infinite possibilities that are open to you and for you, there is this like relaxation almost that happens. It's like you drop into the sense of knowingness and trust, and then things just flow and they happen. And I always love witnessing people drop into that space and seeing how just by allowing, we're able to see things that we were not able to see before. So that applies to personal life, that applies to relationships, that applies to life in general. And what I have observed is that it very closely aligns to business as well, especially as entrepreneurs. And as an entrepreneur myself, our business is very much a part of who we are.
Mm-hmm.
And energetically, that is very true as well. We literally build cords to our businesses because they are a creation that we are manifesting into reality. And going back to the concept that the records are the blueprint for everything that comes into physical existence. So your business records have the blueprint of that potential to come into existence. And so that is how I work with my clients in their businesses, is to access their business records, which actually do exist. So there are records for everything, not just humans, or because everything is consciousness, right? So we access the records for your business in order to really do whatever that needs to be done. So they are treated as an entity, and it's funny because I realized recently that we call them like legal entities, right? And like literally, and because they are an entity, like they are alive and breathing. And so we can like clear energy from your business, clear the cords, create a healthy connection, see what blockages there are, see if there are any past blockages or things that have passed on from other lives in relating to creating abundance. and really tapping into that path of least resistance, into what can you be doing that just feels good, that feels like it's not a struggle, where you can just do it and breathe, you know. So that is how I play in the records with my clients and their businesses.
Mm. And I heard several times this idea of resistance. And can you explain further how we hold things away from ourselves by resisting what is?
Yes.
And what it takes to allow all of the abundance of the universe to flow to you. And if the abundance of the universe is here and available, why don't we have it yet?
Those are all such beautiful questions, and it's almost like the human dilemma, right?
Mm.
Why do we push away the things that we most want? It is so interesting to watch, but when we are experiencing it, it's always not the best experience, right? Like, I want this so much, why am I not getting it? Like, and in that place there is so much growth. There is so much love in the resistance that is available. So maybe stepping back a little bit, the source of resistance, really it is, as I see it, it is a like an alarm bell that is telling you something is wrong, like something that needs to be addressed. And it is such a blessing to feel resistance, because if it is not for that, then you don't really know, like, where do I go? And so to really allow the teaching of the resistance to come through, the first thing that I have felt is to first feel the resistance. You know, so it's interesting because sometimes we are resistant to feeling resistance. So the first step is really to feel the resistance. Like, it's okay. It's okay to feel resistance, and just like breathe into the resistance. And then it's all about quieting down and listening. And a really good way to start is also to ask, what am I scared of? Because, as you said, you know, there is so much infinite love that is available for us, and abundance and beauty. And the opposite of that on the other spectrum really is essentially fear. So it is asking, what am I afraid of? And going deep into that. And that is a lot of the processes that I go through with my clients, to really get to the source of fear and feeling it, and feeling that it's okay to feel scared, feeling that it's okay to feel that we don't deserve what we want, that the end of anything good is always like bad, like we're always waiting for, you know, the beep to hit the fan, right? Like, oh my God, it's gonna happen. Like, and just to feel that and be okay with feeling the fear and moving through it. And as you move through it, you realize the blessing that is on the other side. And that is really, it's also remembering that we as humans have chosen to be here to feel. And there is no discrimination in feelings, right? Like, it's okay to feel scared. It's okay to feel angry. It's okay to feel frustrated, so that we can move to the other side and like feel that love and feel that passion and feel that aliveness. Because the worst thing that can happen is to not feel. And literally, like, people who are prescribed, you know, from big pharma, things like antidepressants and all of these things, what they do is they numb you out. And it's so much worse to not feel than to just feel the anger or the frustration or the whatever it is, and to just let it out. So to wrap that up, resistance is a beautiful teacher. that is a gateway to so many more beautiful things on the other side if we just allow ourselves to open the door and just go through.
Yeah. Yes, many, many times we've blown up in our minds that whatever it is we're afraid of, we've made it into this big monster when it's just this little piece. But I know for many folks, if you've never done any of this kind of work, you're like, oh, if I just open that door a crack, it's just going to come out and swamp me. And yet that's not our experience for those of us that have. We find that, well, the universe is graceful, and we never ever, even if sometimes you're like, okay, you're pushing the envelope here, universe, we are never given more than we can handle.
Indeed.
And whatever it is, then we have the capacity to feel it and to move through it. And I love what you were saying. If we resist everything and we just, because our ego wants us to do that, to stay safe, because ego believes that change is danger.
Absolutely.
And so every time we're trying to take a step forward, we're trying to grow our business, we're trying to, and I love that whole, that our businesses are actually living, breathing entities, and they have personalities, and they have needs, and they have desires. And if we're just locked into, I'm running a business, we miss half the joy, and we hold back some of the power and the presence and the wisdom that our businesses actually contain within them. We're not able to tap into that and access it. So with the records and this idea that we are able to connect with these records, what's the first step for someone to connect, whether it's their personal records or the records of their business? How do they go about that, Yumie?
That is a beautiful question. So a lot of people have this perception that accessing their records is like this super advanced skill that they need to have, or like something that is just people are born with, or something that is a struggle. And again, it's like that resistance that we have to things that are actually very natural and easy. And accessing the records, there are many methods that are available, and people can search online. There are different prayers and things, but really for me, I really resonate with the understanding and the belief that because the records are just an energy vibration, getting into a state of higher vibration with intention of accessing your records takes you there. And that is all you need to just trust that you are there, and then you will begin to feel it in your body. And so I have recorded actually a beautiful guided process that people can listen to have that first experience of opening and accessing their records and truly seeing how easy it can be. And in that process, you can then begin to just allow energy to move through you and begin to understand how you receive information from the records, because it is a very personal experience. Some people feel it in their body. Some people start to hear little words, or feel things, or see images. We all have different receptors and antennas to that realm, and it's just a practice of cultivating that connection and cultivating that experience of understanding that we are not separate from anything, and just being in that higher vibration and allowing is all we need to do. So yeah, that first step is available for people to play with.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. So, friends, you can access Yumie's gift, which she was sharing with you. It's the Akashic Healing Transmission just by clicking the link below this video. And I look forward to enjoying this healing for myself. So I appreciate you offering it. I love the records. I love the energy of the records. And after because it's going to come off sounding different. But I was going to say after many years of practice, but it's not because it's taken years of practice, but it is that with my practice now, it is being in the Akasha is just as natural as being here on Earth. And so it's just a natural place where I go. So, and it is available to everyone. It's exciting times we're living in here.
Yes, absolutely. And I really resonate with what you just said, because it is almost a practice of like unlearning what we have learned, to just like release all of those limitations and remember. And that is what takes time, you know, like the unlearning. And it's that we don't really need to do anything, that it's there. And that's what we just need to remember. Yeah.
I love, there's an Abraham Hicks quote that things can happen instantly. And they've actually happened instantly. The time frame is how quickly you will decide that they have happened.
Yes, absolutely.
And again, it's practice. And the more you practice, the easier it is to believe it and then feel it. Yumie, thank you so much for the wonderful insights that you shared with us today. I really appreciate you being here with the circle.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh,
Roslyn.
you've been listening to Rosalind Warren and Yumie Zein on the Dare to Thrive Circle Entrepreneurial Summit. And remember, all of our interviews are available to watch and enjoy all week long through September 17th. And thank you so much for joining us. And until next time, believe everything is possible, trust yourself, and dare to thrive.